Let's do a house exploration of Buchart Colbert. This is a brand that I spoke about recently, but they were so kind as to send me over nearly the entire collection, and I'm so grateful to the Shans. I think they're incredible, and I love talking with them. Side note, we are doing a live together on the 24th of January if you would like to join us. If we still have this app, it will be hosted here. If we don't, we're going to host it over on my Instagram. So I hope you'll join us and meet these incredible creative minds. Buchart Colbert is a newer indie brand on the market that draws a lot of its inspiration from more classical forms of music like operas. Each one of these fragrances I find very unique, but they still have something about them that I think could be very mass appealing, without feeling like it's redundant or something that we've smelled before. They may not be the typical scent profiles that you're used to smelling, but they're all very approachable. I'll start with the only one that's not in my collection, and truly the only reason why it's not is because it's the most masculine leaning of the bunch, and that's Knife Thrower. It's a very approachable classic fougere fragrance with really beautiful bright notes of ginger and citrus. It has that sort of fresh, just out of the shower feeling. It's very bold and attention grabbing and has this sort of exhilarating feeling to it, very much how you would expect a knife throwing performance to be. While it is not my personal favorite, if you are somebody who likes classic fougères, classic men's fragrances, and you're looking for a way to break into indie niche fragrances, I think it's a great place to start. Next, let's talk about Misha. I challenge anybody who doesn't think that they like a saffron note to try this fragrance because it is the most gorgeous, realistic interpretation of saffron. This kind of smells like your cutting board after you've just finished cutting oranges and lemons and you're steeping beautiful golden saffron in a warm bowl next to it. It's very bright and crisp. I think this is going to be a really beautiful summer fragrance because it's just so refreshing. It does work really well on its own, but I also like layering it with the other fragrances to give them more of like a poppy opening. Next, let's talk about Le Bain de l'Eau. This was my introduction to the brand, and I did do a full video on it, but it's still probably top 2 favorite from the house. I love the combination here of cardamom and rose. It's so unexpected. It feels both very feminine and seductive, but at the same time, very clean and fresh. If you are somebody who does love rose, this is probably one of my all-time favorite rose fragrances. If you're somebody who is very adverse to rose like I was at the beginning, then this is a great place to start because it's not overwhelming, it's not too jammy. It's a very fresh cut, dewy rose fragrance. Oh, I'm wearing it tomorrow, putting it off to the side. I love it so much. The next one is L'Antisse. L'Antisse, or The Haunting, is actually Sean's first fragrance that he created, and it is hauntingly beautiful. This one is definitely more unisex leaning, and I think this is a fragrance that's really for kind of like the more goth fragrance lovers. It's very atmospheric in its composition. It sort of smells like the air right as it's about to start raining and thundering. When there's sort of just that like metallic electricity in the air, like just about to break. It's very herbal and grounded and has this tiny bit of sweetness in there from red berries. It's really, truly such a perfectly balanced fragrance. I find it incredibly mysterious and alluring, and it's one that I keep going back to. When I first smelled it, I'm like, I don't know if that's for me. But the more I've worn it on skin and the more I smell it, the more I love it. Next is Lutin Orange. Now this one might get a little bit more challenging for you because there's actually a mushroom note in here, but don't let that scare you because it is so beautifully blended in there. You're not going to smell like mushrooms. It adds this really nice earthiness to an otherwise very bright fragrance. It also has notes of plum and white musk, rum, coconut, so it has this kind of like creaminess to it. There's sage, there's amber, there's cedar. This fragrance to me feels like I'm a fairy dancing on the forest floor, bouncing on mushroom caps. The wood and the rum in here, I think, pull this into a place that is definitely more unisex, but the coconut and the plum are adding this beautiful creamy fruitiness to this. Again, such a beautifully blended fragrance. This one is definitely top 3 for me. And last but certainly not least, Faison d'Or. This one is my top favorite and probably the closest they come to a gourmand, although this is not your typical overly vanilla, sickeningly sweet gourmand. It's very, again, bright and fresh. There's this Valencia orange in the opening that gives you this beautiful burst of like fresh, realistic citrus. It's the most beautiful, juicy, like fresh off the tree, deep ambery orange with notes of caramelized sugar, smoke, suede, cedar, spices, pink pepper, amber, and woods. This one, again, gorgeously unisex. That woodiness makes it kind of rugged and has this very like you're in the woods cutting fresh oranges and roasting spices over an open fire. Everything about it says that this fragrance should be for fall, but it's so well balanced that I think it could easily be worn in the warmer months, in the colder months, any time of year. It's truly stunning. The sweet note in here is expertly blended. It's not going to make this feel animalic. Instead, it gives it an almost like a textural feeling of the soft, supple suede. If you're interested in exploring the Buchart Colbert collection, you can order their sample set on their website, and if you use my code MICHISMELLS, it'll save you 25%, and you can come smell them live with us again on the 24th. If we're not here, we will be over on my Instagram. I really hope you'll join us. Okay, I love you. Bye.